There's a section of violence here. We got another one for you. UFC Strickland versus Hernandez. Should be a really good card. Really excited for this one. Honestly, you know me, I'm a big Strickland guy. A lot of people give him flack, but Strickland's my guy. He's been my guy. I'm gonna support him till the end. But let's recap the first or the last week's card. I'm gonna start doing this every week now, just recapping the card. See what went well, what didn't. We'll start off with the bottom. We had Claudia Sagula versus Priscilla Cachoeira. I'm gonna make it quicker this week, not too long, so not to spend too much time. I think we went pretty in depth last week. If necessary, we will again this week, but I think we can skim past these fights, sorry, relatively quickly. So let's get right into it. Claudia Sagula versus Priscilla Cachoeira. This is a great fight, honestly. For women's MMA, I was expecting this to be, a lot more clinch heavy from Sagula. Maybe she struggles to get her down. I did think her having to tit for tat from the outside would have to be part of her game plan, but she did actually throw with heat. She had good technique. It was nice to see Pahumpa in the corner. I knew he would be in the corner, but I didn't know how effective he would be, telling her to, stay calm, pick her shots, don't brawl. Priscilla did what Priscilla always does, comes to brawl, throw heat. She has to be she has to be she has to have some of the worst process in the women's division. She just goes heavy for the headshots, doesn't know body setups. Everyone knows what she's gonna do. She has KO'd some girls, obviously. She can be overwhelming, but honestly, Sagula just pieced her up. People are saying, oh no, I could see it maybe going Priscilla's way or maybe 21, 29, 28. You guys need to reassess your judging abilities because that was clear 29, 28 at worst. 30, 27 is what I had it as. You cannot win fights going forward, getting lit up on the feet. All the damage was on Priscilla's side. Priscilla did land maybe a few good shots here and there, but it was mainly Segul doing all the work. I don't see how you can give her 30, 27. That's a bit ridiculous. But yeah, Segula got the win. Honestly, I think Segula is gonna she's gonna be an interesting factor in this division. I don't think obviously she'll go anywhere in the sport, but she's gonna be here for a little bit. Getting a few wins, few losses. I think her career will be a mixed bag of wins and losses. But honestly, this was a good fight. I commend her for a good performance. She fought well. She only shot a few times, but like I said in the breakdown, her wrestling is not good enough. And yeah, showed here. But yeah, Priscilla. I also want to mention the corner work with Nunes and her. I love Nunes, so don't take this the wrong way. She's not listening or anything, but I think Nunes was hyping her up, which you need to do as a coach. But holy smokes, at the end, like raising your hands like you won, like how on earth are you like even like she like, ran into Nunes's arms like she just won the belt. It was so corny. I don't see how on earth she won that fight or how she thought she won that fight. She even when the decision went the other way, they still had their hands up. Like, how do you even like? I don't understand the thought process there, but whatever. To each his own. Celebrate wins, stay humble in defeat, stay humble in victory or defeat. So I take it they're just living in the moment. So good for them. I don't know, man. That was just a really funny thing I saw there. That was interesting. Anyways, let's get into something a little more interesting. We had Jacob Wilcox versus Muay Gafarov. Man, this fight, I could speak all day about this fight. This was a fight where Jacob Wilcox was clearly outclassed in the feet. He he had a few moments where he teeped him to the stomach and he hurt Gafarov to the belly. But other than round two, he was getting lit up on the feet like a Christmas tree. His boxing is non-existent. His wrestling's not great. Muay Gafarov he has some skill. He goes to the body well. He digs to the body. He goes up top. I think he's so low IQ. It's not even funny. He shoots for a takedown, knowing that's Willax's main thing is guillotines, and he almost got caught in one in the second, but he defended well. But man, why are you shooting? The second I'll give you a pass because he was hurt to the body. He shot desperate. It is what it is. The third round. What was the thought process there? I'm so curious. He was piecing Will Lex up on the feet. He just needed that for the round three, and then he decides to shoot with like 10 to 15 seconds, 20 seconds left. I think 30 seconds left maybe. And he gets caught in a tight guillotine. And what do you know? It's the one that catches him. And he taps with 1 second left. Insanity. Insanity. I don't see how he let that happen. His coaches were telling him, don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot, and he did it anyways. You cannot teach stupid. This is just something you cannot get past. If you're a dumb fighter, you're going to be a dumb fighter. You're never going to improve your fight IQ. I'm sorry. There's ways you can improve it, but for people like him, no, he is clearly just not intelligent. And yeah, it is what it is. Will X gets the win. Will Clax, however you say his name. And yeah, moving on. He's now 2-0 in the UFC. He will his winning streak will come to an end. He's not very good. He has good jiu-jitsu, but that's about it. So moving on. We had Kong Wang versus Eduardo Mora. I had Kong Wang here. I thought Kong Wang was just gonna run through her. I thought the takedown defense would hold up. Honestly, she had really bad takedown defense this fight. She scrambled or in scrambling. She had decent takedown defense, not good though. Eduardo Mora got her down way too easily a few times. Mora's like, I don't like to say this about women. Obviously, it's not really polite, but she was pretty fat. Like Mora does not take her diet, her strength and conditioning seriously. She's just strong. Maybe was on the juice at one point. I don't know. She just looks overweight. Um, she's not ripped. She's not toned. It's just some strong butch girl that's got pretty good grappling. And Kong Wang just battered her on the feet. I had Kong Wang KO one for my cycle parlay that I tailed Matty Betts and my guy Lucrative, and it was one leg away from cashing, and it was Kong Wang. I did my own. I had two actually. I had one cycle play and then one other play, plus 2,800, plus 2,100. Both of them cash, but this one would have put me right over that. I had a big day, but like to the level I could have had, that would have been even more awesome. But it is what it is. Kong Wang fumbled the KO. Yeah, we move on. Eduardo Mora, cardio's not her thing, and striking's not her things, and yeah, her grappling's isn't that great. So she's gonna have trouble in this division, and I don't see her being in the UFC much for a long time if she's not going to improve anything in her game. So, yeah, moving on. We have Javid Bashrat versus Gianni Vasquez. I'm curious if they gave Gianni Vasquez another shot because Gianni Vasquez took this on short notice and he dropped Javid bad. Almost got him out of there in the second. He almost got put out of there in the first round, which made it kind of a fun fight. Javid ended up getting cut from the UFC, I believe. I don't know the whole situation there, but I do know he is not in the UFC anymore. Honestly, it's probably for the better. The guy's chin durability is not the best. His skill set's good. Like he's a very skilled fighter. He's one of those really technical guys that don't have the best hardware, and he's not really cut out for the higher levels of the UFC. If you're going to a war, it could have been even a split decision for Gianni. Like it's one of those fights I would not think to myself, oh, this like in the first round, yeah, he looked great, but in the second and third, negative 700 was crazy. Like he honestly is. It's hard to give Javid Bashrat negative 700 tags with when he's that like his chin is not great, and it showed in this fight. But I think Javid will be fun to watch in the regional scene. We'll see how he does. Yeah, Gianni Vasquez. We'll see if he gets another shot. He's a scrapper. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Moving on, Ketlin Souza versus Bruno Brazil. I'm gonna keep this one short. Mid fight, Bruno Brazil hates getting hit. She's very clear. She's all offense, not a lot of defense. She hates getting hit. She was running at some points. She's just not a fighter, man. She's not a fighter. Ketlin Souza, she's just a. She's not exactly like I wouldn't say she's like Denise Gomez, but she does scrap and she's experienced and that butch lesbo energy does take her a long way. So good for her. She got the win here. Bruno won the first and then second and third she just gave away because Souza was bullying her. So yeah, last time I'll be betting on Brazil against someone with actual hate in their heart when they throw because Bruno cannot take getting hit. It is what it is. Yeah. Moving on. Nikolai Varetnikov versus Nico Price. Another really short breakdown here. Nikolai Varetnikov killed him within minute 42 into the first. Price should probably retire, man. There was a time when he was one of the most entertaining guys in the roster. Now he's just the highlight reel option for all these strikers, and he's just gonna get beat by most of these guys. He's probably getting paid a good amount of money too. I would give him. I know he has a lot of kids, but I think he should probably look to cut him here soon. He's just getting unnecessary damage, and he's not gonna be anything as a veteran at this point in his career. Moving on, we had Alex Moreno versus Daniel Danchenko. Moreno, he's already halfway out the door with commentary and Fury FC. So, but man, people give him a hard time saying he's chinless, this and that. Man, the guy has a chin. He ate some howitzers by Daniil Chichenko. He absolutely ate them. He got hurt bad in the first, almost TKO'd, but he managed to survive. Danchenko, honestly, he's a big fraud. He is dangerous, but he is a fraud. The guy has such sus cardio, it's not even funny. His output slows down when he is tired. And honestly, I think Morono exposed that. I think Morono he came to the fight with a knee injury, which is never a good idea versus a kicker, a good Thai style fighter like Danchenko. Danchenko had a pretty good performance, but honestly, I just see Danchenko losing against anyone half decent when in this UFC roster. The 170 division is pretty stacked, I would say, and I don't know. I just think Danchenko likely loses a lot of these fights. But yeah, Danchenko also, was with Polyana Viano. That was a surprise to me. I didn't even know about that, but that's interesting. Not really that it matters or anything, but I just thought that was interesting. So yeah, Danchenko, back to the lab, get better because brother, you need to work on some things if you're going to compete at the higher levels. And Morono, he also got cut from the UFC. Best of wishes, best of luck in your future endeavors. It's been fun watching you over the years. Moving on. Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker. I think Julius Walker is a freak athlete, honestly. He was collegiate level basketball, but honestly, this guy has crazy strength. He has good athleticism, good shots to his takedowns. Okay, 1 second. But honestly, I think Julius Walker was on his way to winning that fight if he could keep that wrestling going. There's one problem. Too hittable. Not a good shin. Rafael Sakara was probably the indicator that I should be taking Jacoby KO, but I didn't because I thought Walker could out wrestle him and could stay somewhat safe. I thought wrong. I did have Jacoby winning by KO, but I didn't want to bet it just because Jacoby has let me down on a few occasions pre-flop. But yeah, this was a good matchup for him to win. He got the KO round two. Could have been stopped a lot earlier. He hurt Julius Walker pretty badly, multiple times. But yeah, Julius Walker, you got to work on your defense, man. I think he follows my page, brother. You're a great guy. You can tell you're genuinely a good guy that just tries to, live his dreams. But man, you need to work on your defense because that was rough to watch. Great wrestling, great grappling, but the defense was horrendous. Anyways, Jacoby gets another win. Moving on. Fareed Basharat versus Gene Matsumoto. Okay. I was pretty big on Gene. Not big, but I had a okay sized position on this fight. I thought that Gene Matsumoto was going to use lots of leg kicks, and just string combos together. I did not anticipate Fareed to have such success in the first round because Fareed had a really good first round, honestly. He was sharp. He outstruck Matsumoto. I think he hurt him in the second round. I think Fareed's a very, very skilled fighter. Him and his brother are both skilled fighters. But when they're under pressure, specifically Fareed, they tend to fall apart. I think Fareed's cardio is okay, but Gene put it on him, and he actually outgrappled him in a few moments. He was using that whizzer, and Gene would just get heavy on that whizzer and kill his wizard, and then he would get his back, and he wouldn't take it fully. His wizard, it was like a weak wizard that he would have, and he would just shovel uppercut. I thought Gene won 2-3. I'll be honest. I know that may sound biased, but because I was on Gene, but honestly, I think 2 was close, but I do lean Gene just because he did get the control. He did land some punches when he had the control. It wasn't like he was just holding him. Gene, he was always pressuring forward, being the aggressor. I think Free did well to start the second, but I think Gene took over, and I thought, at the ending of rounds, the last half of the rounds, is usually what the judges are watching, so that was a little disheartening losing that bet, but yeah, third was easy. Gene beat the crap out of Fareed in the third. Great performance by Gene. Great fight, period. But yeah, I thought Gene did enough to win. Unfortunately, he didn't win. It is what it is. We move on. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk versus Marc-Andre Barrio. I thought Mikhail Oleksiejczuk did enough to win, 1-3. But man, he looked bad in the clinch, man. Marc-Andre was just clinching, boom, 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 just doing what he does best. But man, Mikhail was like pushing away, trying to get away from him. Man, you're in the clinch, you're pushing on the face, maybe you pop, go for a body lock, you're doing angling off. Like, you're not trying to get away like that. That's how you eat a knee down the middle. That's how you get kicked in the face on the way out. Like, you got to be a little more defensively sound in the clinch. Like, he just looked lost in there. His coach was saying absolute ridiculous stuff. The head coach for Fighting Nerds, I believe, the head coach, he was just saying like, everything under the sun. Like, don't hit them to the body, hit them to the head. Like, the body was working. Marc Andre may have a good poker face, but he was feeling those body shots. And Oleksiejczuk was in his flow state when he was going to the body. When you're just headhunting against a guy like Marc Andre, I know his chin has failed him on a few occasions, but you're gonna have to kill Marc Andre to get him out of there. He's a dog. He's gonna be in there. And it proved it in the first round. He was keeping that glove high, protecting himself. And Mikhail honestly just could not get even close to a finish. So I don't know. People were really high on the KO here. I thought he could get a KO 100%, but I wasn't like too high on it. I kind of left it out of my parlay, especially the odds were not worth playing. But yeah, honestly, I don't know. I just think this was one of those fights that people were just way too high on. Oleksiejczuk to the KO. I think Oleksiejczuk money line was also pretty wide, to be honest, but he did his thing. He cashed. I liked Oleksiejczuk money line. Just I thought the odds were getting a little crazy. Yeah, it cashed. Happy about it. We move on. Okay. Cunha versus Jailton Almeida. I'm just gonna say it nice and quick. Both these guys are not very good. Cunha just leans against a man and just does his little dirty boxing game. Um, he's Both these guys are dangerous. Don't get me wrong. And for heavyweights, they're not exactly bums, but they're just not a high level. They're not that level to be title contenders or anything. Jalton got his walking papers too. It was his last fight on the contract, but regardless, they will not be signing him back with performances like that. Um, yeah, see ya, Jalton. It's been fun. Kuniev, you're gonna get cut too at this rate if you keep fighting like that. Moving on, we have Hyoji Horiguchi versus Amir Albazi. Honestly, it's getting pretty hot in this thing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna change my shirt. Kyoji Horiguchi. What can I say? This guy is a phenomenal fighter. I think Kyoji is going to be a title contender. I don't know about the champion. I think Manel Cap probably beats him in the rematch. I think Josh Van likely loses, but that's a compelling fight as well. I think Kyoji's just a top three, top five fighter in the UFC. I know at his older age, people kind of count him out sometimes, but Kyoji's the real deal. He takes rounds off of Fantoja. He's 36-5. Like, the guy's a legit fighter. Like, if you look at the guys he's beat in his career, like, let me see, Okikubu, um, only lost to Demetrius Johnson. He won to Yuki Matoyo, Manel Cape, Okikubu. Yeah, they might have beat him twice. Might be a different guy, but two times. Kaya Sakura, fluke loss to Sergio Pettis. Patchy Mix is way bigger than him. Um, Shinryu, I don't know what happened there. Beat him in the rematch. Beat Sergio Pettis in the rematch. Um, Takiro Bekov schooled him. And Almir Albazi. Like, this guy's a legit fighter, man. And I never want to take anything away from this guy. I think he's going to be a fun fighter to watch until he chooses to retire. Moving on, we have Mario Batista versus Vinicius Oliveira. Vinicius Oliveira came out saying he had a broken arm going into this fight. It doesn't matter. Batista, he was going to beat him anyways. He's just way too good. Batista is a phenomenal fighter. Phenomenal grappling, pretty good striking, and his cardio is second to none, probably the best in the UFC, next to Merab, if not better than Merab. I just think this guy is a monster, and you're gonna have to kill him to stop him. So yeah, man, it was a good card though. I'm pretty happy how we finished the card. We finished up money. It was a rough card to start, but we finished up money. Vinicius Oliveira, no, sorry, not Vinicius Oliveira. Mario Batista finished the card off with a bang for us. So really happy about that. Good card though. We're gonna move on. Not spend too much time talking about this card. Let's see how long. Last time was 16 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes this card. Again, guys, I try to make it short, but I like to get into these fights, give you guys a little bit of a recap. But we're gonna get into it. It might be a longer show today. Yeah, 1 second. Let me change here quick. Oh man. Hope everyone had a happy Valentine's Day. Strickland Fight Week. You know what time that is. I'm gonna wear my Strickland shirt. Oh, Strickland. Where's my Strickland shirts? Okay, there we go. I have like way too many fighter shirts. I had to take some of them home because honestly, I have way too many fighter shirts. Ooh. All right, let's get into it. UFC Strickland versus Hernandez. We're gonna get right into it. Shout out my boy Deshaun. We'll get right into it though. It's a fun card. I'm really looking forward to it. How much time we got? Okay, so yeah, we'll try to. This probably might be an hour show, so just gonna give you guys a heads up, but we'll see how we finish. Okay, this isn't gonna be a long breakdown. Moving on. So we have the UFC Fight Night: Strickland versus Hernandez. First fight of the night, we have Carly Judice versus Juliana Miller. Juliana Miller is probably one of the worst female fighters on the roster. She has no business being in the UFC. She is horrible. Carly Judice by KO, however she wants. This is probably my lock of the card. I don't see how she wins this fight. She beat girls like she beat Bia Mosquito. Wow, she has legit grappling. I'll give her that. She has good jiu-jitsu. She beat Fatima Climb in specific rule sets, yes. But she lost to who was it that she lost to? Veronica Hardy beat her. Luana Santos knocked her out. Like that's a bad look. I just think Judice is gonna beat her. Honestly, Petrovic was beating her until she like just gave up stupid positions. I think Miller's gonna just she's just gonna get beat. I think Judice is just far superior to her. I got Judice winning this fight pretty convincingly. Miller's horrible. Um, yeah, I don't even know what else to say. Like look, if you look at Judice, like who she's fought, not at the highest levels, but she beat the legendary Janice Dubin. Yeah. So I mean, maybe not the worst UFC fighter, but she's one of the worst UFC fighters. Miller is. Dubin's definitely up there. Um, she beat Salieri pretty convincingly. Need to deliver ground and strike. Yeah, she's coming off of two pretty nasty finishes. She lost to a split decision to Fernandez. What weight class was this at? 125. Yeah, so when she's not the bigger girl, she does tend to struggle. But I do think she's just a very talented fighter. So I'm gonna go to Judice here. I'm not gonna overthink it. Don't want to waste too much of your time. Judice here. It's pretty simple. If she doesn't get wrapped up in some stupid submission, she should win this fight relatively easily. Moving on. Jordan Levitt versus Yadir Dalval. I gotta go with Dalval here. Jordan Levitt, he's just he's not bad. He's just not good. I think Delval, the last fight I'm not even gonna count it. That was rigged, but the ones before, Connor Matthews submitted him. Montero's a pretty scary guy. Beat him pretty soundly as well. Ben Alamov's a bum, so nothing really to take out of that. He beat Michael Aswell. Pretty good win there. Yeah, Jordan Levitt. He's gonna look for points, look for kicks from the outside. Um, he could get submitted. He could get knocked out. I know he submitted Kurt Hollabaugh, which shows this guy has some grappling. But honestly, I just think Yadir Deval is just a better fighter. I think the odds are pretty fair. I think Delval probably wins by finish here. Jordan Levitt hasn't fought. Okay, he fought last year. That's not that bad. So it's been less than a year in his last fight. So I'm gonna go Yadir Deval. But if you were to lose a weird decision, I wouldn't be surprised. This guy's not that great on the feet. He's dangerous and all, but his process isn't that great on the feet. He's more of like a heavy hitter on the feet with some pretty good grappling. I'm gonna go with Yadir Deval here by finish though. Um, yeah, it should be welcome to the UFC. This should be his true welcome to the UFC moment because last fight was rigged, so we truly don't get to know how good he is. But this is a real UFC fighter who's fought some pretty high level guys, Paddy Pimblett, um, Chase Hooper's high level, I guess. So we'll see how this fight plays out. But I gotta go with Yalder Del Valle. Okay, moving on. We have Jean Paul Labosione versus Phil Rowe. I gotta go with. Oh, this is a hard one because this one could go a variety of different ways. Because we got Jean Paul Labosione, who has good striking, um, and good jiu-jitsu. Well, pretty good striking, but his boxing isn't that good. He's mainly a kicker, and I just don't know if he's fought anyone as tall as Phil. I guess Keegan Gendrich, but Gendrich is a grappler, so I don't know if he's ever fought anyone at the size of Phil Rowe. I think Phil Rowe is going to be a problem for him, his boxing especially. I'm gonna lean John Paul Biziani just because of his grappling, but this is a coin flip if you ask me. Like I have no interest in betting this fight. I think Phil Rowe could easily knock him out. But I'm gonna lean Labusciani just because of how bad Phil Rowe I've been looking, and I don't trust his grappling. So I'm gonna go Labusciani, but honestly, this is a close fight. So we'll see how the fight plays out. Phil Rowe's boxing, man. He has some really clean boxing, and he's very, very confident in his abilities. But honestly, he just rubs me the wrong way in a few different ways. And yeah, honestly, I made money with him. I've lost money on him. It's just he's a hard fighter to get a read on per fight. This one could be a good spot for him to win. I mean, he has a win over Jake Matthews, which is crazy to me. Um, I don't know. We'll see how this fight plays out. He's a lot more experienced than Labusciani, so but I don't know. We'll see how this fight plays out. Coin flip fight. I might switch to Phil Rowe later in the week. Who knows? Gonna hear some people I respect's opinions. This is one of those fights where if you had a strong lean one way and it made sense to me, I'd probably switch my whole read altogether. Because honestly, this is one of those fights that could go either way. Moving on, we have Ramiz Brahimaj versus Punale Soriano. I gotta go with Soriano. No, sorry, Brahimaj, man. Soriano has just looked so pedestrian. His wrestling is good. Don't get me wrong, and he has heavy hands. Good boxing. But Varetnikov was piecing him up, and he's a better striker than Brahimaj. I get it, but I don't know, man. Varetnikov was doing a lot of stupid things. I think he was. This is the fight where he was doing the spinning stuff. I can't remember honestly, but I just remember. I just know Punella can get submitted. He got submitted by Stoltzfus. Um, he can be finished. It's a lot harder to finish this guy, but he gets tired. Like Punella gets tired, and Ramiz does not get tired. Ramiz can get caught and hurt, but other than getting like tired, nah, he's at a good camp out with Fortis, and I think he has something wrong with him mentally. Like I think he might have autism, so it's like I don't know. He put a pace on Vanderford, got his ass out of there in the second round. He submitted Billy Goff with the guillotine, so the guys are shooting on him. He has a nasty guillotine, so I think Soriano's gonna have to watch out for that. He got caught in a few guillotines with I think his last fight. or a few fights, he's been caught in guillotines. He's gotten out of it, but I think if Ramiz gets his guillotine locked up, I think that'll be the fight. Ramiz KO'd Ricky Gall. He lost to Themba Garimbo, which is a really bad look, but hopefully he's made improvements, the improvements, necessary ones. Who can forget when he lost his year? That was just actually crazy. But yeah, I gotta go with Brahimaj, man. I think Puna's cardio is gonna be a huge factor here, and if he decides to grapple here, I'm gonna be getting my live button ready. But if he strikes, this could be very, very close, and I could see maybe Soriano even getting a KO here. But it's a close fight. Definitely could see this fight going a number of different ways, but I'm gonna go with Brahimaj by guillotine or Brahimaj by Brahimaj by guillotine or decision would probably make the most sense. I don't know if he's KOing Soriano. Moving on, we have Nora Cornole versus Jocelyn Edwards. I think Jocelyn Edwards is gonna beat her up. Honestly, Cornole is just she's a scrapper and she knows how to make it close. I do think the odds are a bit wide, but Carol Rosa, put a pretty good clinic on her. Cavalcanti from range beat her pretty easily. I don't know how that was a split. That was pretty unanimous to me. Haley Cohen, she submitted Haley Cohen. She's my friend, so not a great thing to see because I like to see Haley win and do well. But yeah, she got Haley out of there. Yeah, I gotta go with Jocelyn Edwards, man. She seems to be on a tear right now. Just KO'd Priscilla. KO'd Chandler. I don't know about KO and Cornole, but I do think she's gonna outstrike her. Maybe I'll grapple her as well. So I'm gonna go with Edwards here. I'm gonna go with Edwards by decision. I feel like would be the most likely outcome. This could be a pretty competitive back and forth fight. So just get ready for that type of fight, split decision territory. Um, Historically, Edwards rarely covers her prices very well. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Edwards here, but don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge fan of betting women's MMA at these types of odds, especially when the other girl's not a complete bum. So, yeah, I'm gonna go Edwards here by decision, but if she gets a big KO here again, this could really catapult her up the division and maybe get her into those big, big title fights. Who knows? But yeah, man, I gotta go with Edwards here, and yeah, we'll see how this one plays out. I think Edwards is, yeah, I think she's a pretty good fighter. Yeah, Edwards by decision. Moving on, Alden Correa versus Luis Gorule. I think Alden Correa is gonna probably put a beating on Gorule. I know Gorule has a pace which is pretty hard to sustain for a lot of guys, but I think Correa is pretty good for that. He's coming off some pretty nasty KOs, Costa, Ponce Ducan. I don't really count Fury FC wins too much. He beat Paris Moran. Um, yeah, Michael Sear is not a great loss. Like there's some losses where it's like, ugh. But the one loss that does stand out to me is Trujillo. Because if you're losing to Trujillo, we basically have an identical version with a worse chin in Luis Garule. Both of them put paces on their opponent, and I think Garule's wrestling could be a problem. I'm gonna go with Alden Korea. I think the odds are a bit wide, but I'm gonna go Alden here. I think Alden's just finally coming into his own, and I do think this would be a good coming out party for him in the spot. I think he's likely gonna beat Garule by TKO or decision. Would probably make sense. This is a pretty competitive fight. I think Korea is just gonna be on the up in his career, in Garule, if you've seen in his last few fights, has not been. Um, he lost to Jesus Aguilera, no shame in that, but Aguilera's not exactly a top tier fighter. Osborg finished him. Piccinini, that was a fun fight. Showed his takedown defense, his grittiness. But honestly, man, I mean, if he beat the guy that beat Carrillo, he might be a better version of that to fight Carrillo. So that's why I said this could go to Garule as well. So I'm gonna stay away from this fight, Fury off Fury. Never really a good idea to bet these types of fights. But I do think Garule is a live dog here, but I'm gonna lean Korea here. I think the odds are wide, so betting wise, if you're probably gonna play this fight, I would sprinkle the dog, but I think Korea is probably gonna win this fight as a pick. I'm leaning Korea here, probably like 60, 65%. Yeah. Moving on though, I don't want to spend too much time talking about this one. Yeah. We have Ode Osborne versus Alibi Idris. So honestly, Alibi Idris, he's dangerous, man. He showed in the Ultimate Fighter. He's a dangerous guy. KO'd Edison Santos, Erison Ferreira. He beat Yakubov. He beat my boy Roybert. I think this guy's just a pretty dangerous guy altogether. He showed some jiu-jitsu flaws with but Morales is probably some of the best jiu-jitsu in the division. So no shame in losing to him. I think Ode Osborne is a he's a game fighter. He's pretty dangerous from long range. You know, his flying knees. He's explosive. He's very good at just like blitzing in with a big shot and their flying knee, cross, whatever it is. So I do think Idris has to mind his p's and q's, but I could see Idris get him out of there in the first or second round. Like honestly, Idris is a savage. So I gotta go with Idris here. TKO. Hopefully Ode can stay defensively responsible and doesn't have to get in the way of Idris's power. I think Idris. I don't know if he's gonna grapple in this fight. I think it'd be smart for him to grapple. He's got grappling, but I don't know. Ode. I think he could honestly break Ode. So I'm gonna go 2-3 finish. I think that would make sense. Maybe TKO 2-3. But we'll see how this fight plays out. Honestly, Ode's always dangerous, but I got to go with the guy with the better process. In my opinion, that's Idris. Ode has not a bad process. I just like Idris's game better. He mixes it up very well. Dangerous everywhere the fight goes. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Idris here. I'm gonna probably go 65-70% confidence. I think Idris wins this fight. Yeah, I'm on Team Idris here, and I would probably maybe parlay him. Look for props, later round props. I think he's likely going to get a 2-3 finish. I think O'Day's a gasser, and I do think that's a tough fight for him. I know he's more experienced than Alibi, but I just think Alibi's a savage, man. He is someone you don't want to sleep on. Yeah, so I got Idris here, 2-3. Yeah. Moving on, we have Carlos Leal versus Chidi Njokuani. A lot of people are on Chidi, man. A lot of people are on Chidi. I don't really get why. Um, I mean, I do, but I don't because Chidi, honestly, he's very similar to Sadabu Sai, but Sadabu's more of a kickboxer, whereas he's more Muay Thai heavy. And I do think his stand-up style is gonna be ignore the cat. The cat's crying out there. No cat. I'll deal with you in a second. If he's still crying, I'll have to let him in. So but he'll might chill for like 2 to 5 minutes. But yeah, I got Carlos Leal here. I think he's just gonna come out gunning for a KO. I know he just got slapped not too long ago by Salikov, but Salikov is such a good counter striker. Chidi's not that great on the back foot. He has nasty. All right, I'm gonna have to let him in. He's annoying me. Oh, it's you. The baby cat. I thought it was a big cat. Yeah, Chidi's just. I don't know, man. Like if you look at who Chidi's fought, has he fought a lot of people that just bomb in? Let me see. Yeah, Mikhail Oxchach got him out of there round one. Robocop got him out of there round two. He's got power too, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. I think this is could be a good fight for him. He KO'd Zaleski pretty bad. I think this is gonna be a killer be killed type fight, but I'm gonna go with Leal round one. Um, this guy's obviously on the juice. Like just look at him. Chidi has struggled with his cardio. And he's going to give him that fight he wants. Sadabui, the way to beat Leal is sticking on the outside and just playing that counter game, working using your footwork. And Chidi does not use his footwork. He just likes to play a Thai style, and it's pretty easy for guys like Leal to blitz in and make it a dogfight. So I'm going with Leal here. I think Leal is probably going to KO him in the first round or second. Odds are closing in. I see a lot of people betting Chidi. But I just cannot join you with this one. I'm sorry. I just think Chidi is. I think he quits when things get too tough, and I think Carlos Leo is the opposite. You're gonna have to kill him to get him out of there. Oh my goodness, this cat is driving me nuts. Anyways, moving on, we have Zach Reese versus Michelle Pereira. Um, I think Michelle Pereira probably wins this fight. But man, Zach Reese has not looked good in his recent performances. Zach Reese he got pretty badly hurt by McVee, and McVee's nothing special. So I don't know. It was pretty funny watching those two tall giraffes fight, but I think this guy is gonna get slapped. Honestly, like he got TKO'd by Bakoyev, Brundage. Like I think Pereira's pretty. Like who's he beat? Jackson McVeigh and Dusko. Like come on, man. Um, yeah, I gotta go with Michelle Pereira here. I think Michelle Pereira is probably. I know I don't really like Michelle Pereira for other reasons, but I think the guy's a savage. I think the guy was on a big winning streak. He submitted Michelle Jacek, Ihor, Tico Petrosky. He was on a pretty good winning streak, and then he just kind of fell off. He's training with Strickland, so he has been in camp. I think Reese trained at Extreme for a little bit, so I think they know each other decently well. Pereira's a harder fight to prepare for than Reese, so I'm gonna give the edge to Pereira here. I think Pereira likely wins this in devastating fashion in the first round. I'm gonna go with Pereira by TKO. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think Zach Reese's jiu-jitsu. It's gonna take a lot to submit Pereira. But maybe he catches him with those clenched knees. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Michelle Pereira by KO round one. Moving on, we have Jacoby Smith taking on Josiah Harrell. Josiah Harrell, you may not know who this guy is, but this guy is a dog. He fought back, I'm pretty sure, from either cancer or some serious illness in his brain, and he had to have a surgery. And this guy is what like literally the definition of never give up. And he is going to come hard and aggressive. He's going to try to break you. He is nasty when he gets on top of you. Nasty ground and pound. If you saw his last fight, he absolutely broke the guy. Nasty TKO finish. It was earlier this year actually. I actually lost money on this fight a little bit because I thought Harrell like I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't think much of him, but last fight made me a fan, man. Like, this guy is very, very, very skilled. Great grappling, tenacious, good ground and pound. But you're facing Jacoby Smith, and Jacoby Smith has phenomenal wrestling. 11-0. Trains with Fortis, so his cardio should be good. Um, he's nasty. He has KO power. His ground and pound's also pretty good. His wrestling's very good. I think this is a pretty even fight if you ask me. I'm gonna go with Jacoby Smith, but I would not be surprised to see him gas later as the fight goes on. But I think Josiah Harrell is gonna struggle to get him down, and I think Jacoby Smith is gonna be very patient, look for those counter hooks, and I think he's probably gonna get Harrell potentially out of there. But who knows? This is one of those fights where I'm just more excited to watch than anything. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jacoby Smith here by counter shot KO. But this is gonna be a really fun fight for as long as it lasts. And yeah, I'm actually rooting for Josiah. His story, his heart. I do want him to pull off the upset, but my brain's telling me Jacoby Smith, and my heart's telling me Harrell. So I'm gonna listen to my brain on this one, and I'm gonna go with Jacoby Smith lean about 60 to 65%. I think Jacoby Smith is going to be a little too much on the feet, and his wrestling is going to deter Josiah's game, in my opinion. Moving on, we have Ante Delija versus Sergey Spivak. I think Sergey Spivak has improved a lot. He used to be just a grappler, but his striking's gotten better. I know his main training partner was Francis for a while. I don't know if he's still at Extreme. But he was very, very effective in his last fight versus Waldo. I thought he won that last fight versus Waldo. That was a bit of a robbery, if you ask me. But yeah, they really like Waldo, and it is what it is. I think Sergey Spivak, if he gets on top of anyone, he's a problem. I think Deliha is going to be hard to get down though. Deliha is a very, very complete fighter. Good grappling, like good wrestling especially, and his boxing is very, very good. I think Deliha is going to probably get a KO here. I think Spivak's going to be there to be hit when he gets back to the cage, and I think Deliha is probably going to find the KO here. I think this is a good matchup for Deliha. Honestly, I think Deliha is probably one of the better guys in the heavyweight division. I know his chin doesn't always hold up, but he is skill for skill one of the better guys in the division. I thought he got TKO over Waldo, but it was turned out to be an eye poke. But I think pound for sorry, not pound for pound. I think if we're putting Deliha against these top guys in the division, I think Deliha can hang with a lot of them. And I do think Spivak's one of those guys that I do think Deliha should be able to beat even relatively easily with a nasty combo. I think his hands are extremely fast, and I think Spivak might be overwhelmed by the speed. So I'm going to go with Ante Delija here by rounds 1 or 2 TKO. I think Spivak is there to be hit, and I think he's going to be struggling to get Delija down, which is not good because Delija is pretty dangerous when he's on his feet and on the ground. It's pretty hard to keep him down if you do get him down. So I don't know. Gonna be a good fight though. I gotta go with Delija here. Makes the most sense. Moving on. We have Melchizedek Costa versus Dan Ige. Now this one's interesting. Because Melchizedek Costa, if you look at his career, he has gassed out a few different times. Um, he's on a 5 fight winning streak. He hasn't lost since 2023, but he got TKO'd bad by Steve Garcia. Garcia's on a roll right now, so we'll give him a break. He got submitted by Thiago Moises. That was his debut. Again, we'll give him a break. But he's improved a lot in his last 2 years. He submitted Shaylin, submitted Andre Fili, Christian Rodriguez. He got him out of there. Not got him out of there, but beat him pretty, not convincingly, but he beat him. Julian Erosa beat him. Good technique. And Sherrier, that was a nasty head kick KO. I think the thing with him, though, is he's going to be playing that point game, and Ige does not allow you to do that. Ige is going to be in your face, and he's going to be looking to take your head off. He just beat someone like Sean Woodson after being, I thought being down on the scorecards, but it was actually up because that forward pressure does look good to the judges. If Costa can't get his kicking game going, I think he might be screwed because he's not going to out wrestle Dan. I don't think, at least. I think because Dan's grappling isn't great, but I think his takedown defense has improved over the years, and I do think it's pretty good. So I don't know. I just think this is a good fight for Dan in a way, but I also do think it's a good fight for Costa because Costa has a good kicking and footwork game, and Dan can be complacent at times. I do think Dan gives away rounds from lack of output, lack of this, and I do think it might be one of those cases where he wins the 2 rounds, and then Dan has to come heavy in the third. So I'm gonna go Malcazil Costa, but I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, this is a lock, this is a confident pick, because it is not. I do think Costa's cardio and durability could be an issue here, but Ige, man, he's one frustrating fighter to bet on or against because he either looks terrible or he gets the KO early. Like he's one of those fighters where it's like you can't really predict exactly how the fight's gonna go because I don't think he's been finished. But he's been putting some pretty bad beatings in his career. Like for example, when he fought um, Chan Sung Jung, Calvin Cater, this was a long time ago, but I think Costa is very, very, very good. So I think this is probably going to lead Costa here by points, but I would not be surprised to see Ige put this guy's lights out, honestly. Moving on, we have Jeff Neal versus Uros Medic. This is another one of those fights. Let me see what the odds are quick. Because honestly, I think with the this fight, it's gonna come down to who lands first. Because I don't think either of them have amazing chins, especially Medic. Medic's chin's abysmal. Um, Let me see here. Yeah, Jeff Neal's a favorite. I just think I think Jeff Neal is probably gonna be the one that, has been there in the higher levels. And I do think that KO threat from Jeff Neal. It's going to take a lot to KO Jeff Neal. But after being KO'd that badly by Protez, maybe Medic has an easier time chinning him because of the past KO. But I don't know. Given still has a good chin, I do think he could probably break Euros and get a KO. But this is a KO, killer be killed type fight. I want nothing to do with this from a betting perspective. Maybe fight not go the distance, but I don't know. That's probably the only thing I can have. That'll probably be like negative 600, negative 500, so I'm not even going to be worth it. But yeah, guys, I got Jeff Neal here. Slight lean, not confident. I think, let me see who I actually have written down. I'm pretty sure it's Jeff Neal. Let me see here. Go Neal, probably 1.8. Yeah, that probably makes sense. But this is one of those fights, man. Don't be betting this fight seriously. Just take it easy. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy this one especially. This is going to be a great fight. Neal by KO, in my opinion. Moving on to the main event of the evening, we have Sean Strickland versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Honestly, I don't know, man. This is one of those fights. I don't know. Like, we have two guys who are dogs. Sean Strickland has amazing takedown defense and get ups, whereas Hernandez has amazing chain wrestling and dirty boxing. I think this is a contrast in styles, and I'm really excited to see how it plays out. I think if Sean's to the best of his ability, I think Sean. I'm gonna take a dog shot on Sean. Honestly, I know it sounds like I'm riding the nuts and just taking Sean because he's my guy, but honestly, I just don't like Fluffy's bodywork defense. I think he doesn't deal well with body work, and I do think he struggles with someone who has a good outside game and has good takedown defense. And I do think Strickland's takedown defense it could cause problems for Hernandez. I love Fluffy, don't get me wrong. He's one of my favorite guys to watch fight. But I do think Fluffy is a little bit weak to the body, and I do think he's gonna have to put a pace that, which I think he can. But Strickland's not exactly one of those guys who have bad cardio, so it's gonna be a hard fight to like break Strickland. I don't know. I'm gonna lead Strickland at dog money, but from a predicting perspective, I think this is a coin flip fight. This could go either way, but you're giving me 2-1 odds on a guy who I do think has a 50-50 chance of winning this fight. I'm gonna go Sean Strickland here. That's just my pick, and gonna be my like value bet of the card. Be careful, guys. This is not a card or card, but I would say this is a good card, but like this fight specifically, I wouldn't go big on because you never know what Strickland's been training hard. I don't know what he's been doing in camp. I know Fluffy's a grinder. He's gonna be in camp working his ass off, but Strickland, I don't know exactly what he does. Especially now, he's been off for a while with the suspension, so this is gonna be his comeback fight. Interested to see how this if this fight goes to plan, but. Yeah, I gotta go with Sean Strickland here, and yeah, it's gonna go be a teep and jab fest, and maybe Sean by decision. I would say maybe. I don't know. This is one of those fights. It could go a few different ways. Alrighty, guys, that will be it for me today. I thought we were gonna do an hour. Not bad, 51 minutes. I tried to keep it under an hour, 53 around there. Let me give you guys my top five. Well, let me give you guys the fight I think that you're gonna probably enjoy the most. Um, I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to go with either the main event or the co-main event because this has some. They have some really good fights on this card. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Prospect of the card. We're gonna do what, and then we're gonna get on to the top five picks. Prospect of the card is probably gonna be Alibi Idris or Yadir Del Valle. Yeah. And now we do our top five most confident picks. Judice, number one. Number two, Del Valle. Number three, Idris. Number four, I'm going to go Deliha. Number 5. Let me see here. I'm gonna have to go Korea. Yeah, so Judice, Del Valle, Idris, Korea, and Deliha. No, sorry, Deliha and then Korea. So that's 5. Alrighty, guys. Like, subscribe. You know the drill. You know who I'll be rooting for this weekend. Hope my boy gets it done. If he loses, do not be messaging me. Blah, 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 blah. You're such an idiot. This, and that. I don't care. This is a fight. It's a 50-50 fight. It could go either way. I'm not saying this is a lock. I'm not saying I'm confident. Ease on your boy in the comments, okay? I know you guys like to give me a hard time. Just give me some feedback, whatever it is. Maybe I'm saying something you don't like in the video, whatever. I'm good with the feedback, but please say if you're gonna do that, please keep it on one. If you're gonna trash me, at least if you're gonna keep it to one message or maybe one paragraph, fine. Don't write one paragraph, two paragraph, three, five, six. I'm not gonna entertain that. You're just spamming for the sake of spamming. Just save it, cause I'll leave the one up or whatever, but not five, man. Like you're just washing away all the positive comments, and it's just ridiculous. So. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe. You know the drill. I'll catch you in the next one. Hope you enjoy the card. Let's cash some tickets. Gonna be a busy week this week. Catch you in the next one. Peace.